everyone, welcome. And we planned this event to be this different, and but because of certain circumstances, we are moving ahead with readout. So the idea is that I hope you all have read the book, and the idea is that we'll pick up the book and we'll discuss about our most favorite sections in the book, and why did you like them, and what portions you like them, what touched you, what you felt could be written otherwise, or what if it was otherwise, and so on and so forth. So before we start on with the session, let me introduce myself. I am Shweta. I've been associated with Ashok for past 2 years. We started working with a startup idea, and for some reasons it didn't go well, and circumstantially I had to resign post COVID because we were to move out of the country, and then suddenly COVID happened. And then one fine day I got a message from Ashok that okay, I am planning to publish my book, and would you be interested in joining me as advisor, partner, editor, so on and so forth. And that's how we started working on the book. And January we had this book in our hand, City Full of Stories, Ashok's first book of short story compilation and novella. Yeah. So before I move on to anybody else, I would want the author Ashok to tell his experiences around the book, and why, apart from being his book, why the book is so special, and what portions are his favorite. I know he's biased about some characters and portions and so on and so forth. So why so?
So this is a decade-old journey for me. So I've been writing small blogs around the book. I would say that short stories. I've got almost like 100 blogs around Mumbai, events in Mumbai. Then when I started publishing 2 years ago, when COVID happened, is when I decided to publish a series of books. So currently, I am almost sitting on about 10, 12 manuscripts. Shweta and I are working on multiple manuscripts together, and a city full of stories happens to be the first of those many. Now, the interesting part about this book is that I initially thought it would be a short story book, a small. If you guys have looked at the book, Volume One was the first. Was supposed to be coming out as a smaller book. Then, when Shweta and I started working, then there were other storylines that I had in hand, which we decided to work together, and that is how volume 3, the larger book, came out into play. In fact, Shweta joined just because of one character. I would put it that way. She fell in love with one of the characters in the book. Let her reveal that, and that is how she joined the book efforts. Now, now, if you look at the book, I've been torn between multiple characters because sometimes I feel I have created all the characters, but my favorite character, if you have to pick and choose, would be Renuka. Okay, it is a difficult choice. Now, Renuka appears in the fag end of volume 2, and it is the second longest story in the book as well. Now, why I like the character is basically because it was the last character I created in the book, and I had to match the other storylines to bring it out to some level of balance, because if you take that story out, this book is a decade old. In that sense, all the other stories are decade old. So that was the only COVID story I have written, but and that was closely happening. Some of the events that have happened are actually very close events which I have observed and then put together. So from that perspective, that was the latest experience for me. So normally when you write a book, you write putting yourself away from the book. That makes the book a lot more fiction because you're pulling things out of your memory and experience. But this one was like the recent past. And when I mentioned this to my, say, mother-in-law, she said that, you're going to drag me down in your book in the public domain. So I said, I've kept the story as it is. That's the fun part of it. So I had to convince somebody like that to be part of the book, because sometimes some of the events are real, right? So, but when you put it together in a different time, different place, and fit the story there, that's where the fiction part comes in. So that way, Renuka was is not my favorite. It is my favorite character because it is the scariest character also, because it was close to me in terms of timelines.
Okay, so I'll go to Priyanka. Hi, Priyanka.
Hi.
I hope you have read the book and
Yeah, not completely, but I'm halfway through. So, uh, like for me, like I like short stories a lot because I've been keeping reading all these short stories from the, I don't know when it's always a short story, something that goes to me like this because I read a lot of articles as well. So one time what happened, I just finished my work and I was like, okay, I have to read the book. And then I was sitting and I started the short story, The White Dress. Okay. So I didn't, usually I don't like this, like what will happen, that kind of a curiosity. I just started and I literally thought it is something kind of a woman he's describing because nowhere nothing was mentioned. And I was like, my imagination was full of, okay, there's a woman and okay, he's referring some kind of a thing. And at the last, when it was regarding a mobile, I was just for a second, I was like sitting there and I was like, okay, this what just happened. So again, I have to read this, and my perception was different when I was reading for the second time the same story. So that's something I kind of like. And hopefully, my best friend was there with me, and I was telling her, and we laughed for 5 minutes when we did. That's like something that I really liked.
okay, we have got similar kind of reviews and comments from a lot of people. I mean, initially when I read the manuscript first, and I thought maybe because the subject that we are talking about, or the person, he is a widower probably, and looking for remarriage at some woman or relative or whoever is she, and then when you realized, okay, this is that. It's very very well written.
That's really, I don't know, because I was not in a mood like, okay, this, and I don't know, that's a description that I could say. Like, I don't think so I have any other words to describe in that way, but it was like literally I paused for like 5 seconds just to know, okay, what's just happened. So this was my moment, I could say.
Right. Great. Happy reading. And just to give us reviews when you happen to read the complete book, and I'll wait for your reviews.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us. Mr. Senior Ashok, I'll come to you. Okay. So I assume you have read the book, and I'm told you're one of the first people who have gone through the book. How did you like the book?
I have not finished reading the book, and then
Okay.
I have come kind of halfway to it. I found it quite good, quite interesting. And then I don't ask me why, but I'm more into longer books. The volume 2, volume 3, volume 4 kind of books now. And so that way, this was a refreshing change for me. I'm into quite a bit of I mean, Tamil books, the old classics and those kind of things. But right now, that's uh, my fad, I would say. So from that, this was quite a bit of a change for me. And then it's like going through some weekly magazines and all that. No, where you find a lot of short stories, 2-page, 3-page kind of short stories. It's something like that. But then here, what I found is that it is kind of very close to life. you know quite a lot of the stories are very close to life, and it need not necessarily be a full length story also. It is based on just an incident here, incidents there, or some kind of an observation here, observation there. I mean, I just want to take the example of this pink tamha. Am I telling it correctly? My
So some people call us Tamhan, some people say Tamhan,
Okay,
like
so
that.
it's a Marathi word. So what is the right word then? What is the right
Tamhan, Tamhan.
Tamhan? Is it okay? I kind of link to that. At this particular age, and then where you kind of come down to being just yourself and your wife, that kind of situation that I'm in. So I was able to relate to this very quickly, and I found it very almost like a poetic kind of thing. It's more like poetic. It's not as though very important that the flower had to be picked up from the ground. Those things are not important. It's just what is important is that uh, the wife has got some limitations in walking. You know, uh, yes, still they like to being together at that stage in life and all that. And then this guy just uh, takes takes that what do you call the small feather from he tries to run after that, and that itself is a laughing situation. And then he ultimately it just comes and lands on him, on his person, and then he just gives it to her. But that kind of very simple, and it's more like telling a love story in a very soft way. I like that very much. That's what I would like to pick up and talk about. Uh, is that what you're trying to convey in that, Ashok?
I think your feeling is the actual meaning I wanted to convey,
Oh,
because
great.
actually I saw these two nice couple when I was when I used to run. So
Okay.
they walk very slowly, and I go past them. Normally you don't notice them because you're one of those little things that you see when you go past in a jiffy, right? When you run.
In your own,
Uh,
you're in your
but
own world, kind of.
Yeah. But this one incident where the old man was trying to, actually what happened was he tried to climb a fence to shake the tree and get some pink flowers. So the
Okay.
tamhan is true, but the effort that he took to shake up the tree, then that inspired the story, but I wrote it in a different way because
I,
I wanted to bring out the intent behind the effort, which is the love. That is the subtle, but it's only they can feel that, right? That type
that's
of
right.
love. So people of that age will easily relate to that type of story. In fact, I think at some point in time when I read the story myself, I melt inside. It's like a little feeling that you get because you're not doing the chocolate thing anymore, right?
That's right. Yes.
Going to malls, going to tours, adventures that young guys do. So this is your limited quiet life, and you are trying to lean on each other. And when you have to make good of your life, I think it is a very touching story in my view. Also, when I read it as a reader, I feel I'm also aging, by the way, so feel closer to the story.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. I found it very nice and very interesting. And the other thing is that I found that a few of the books could have been developed into a full story by itself. Full novel by itself. I mean, quite a few of them have the ingredients for that.
Anand, Shrihari, can I have you here?
Sure. Can everyone hear me?
Yeah,
Just
yeah, we can
yeah.
hear you. Yeah,
Sure.
good to have
So
you
thank
play
you.
with us. Thank you for sparing time.
No problems.
And how did you like the book?
Well, I think I'm also about halfway through the book, and I really enjoyed the short stories because each and every one of these short stories had a completely different view, a completely different protagonist, and there were just one person on the sideline that maybe Ashok had just witnessed while he was walking around and working in Mumbai. And I really like this because the general view of humans is that we tend to look at ourselves as the center of our universe. So, I mean, we are selfish nature, right? So we tend to view everyone as just side characters in our, and we are the main protagonist in our own story. But when we take a second to pause, we realize that every single person that you interact with has their own main stories, and they have their own sideline plot lines, and it's just it completely, like, you tend to grasp the entire nature of the things around you, and it's sort of humbling. And this story really did, I mean, some of the short stories really did portray how, each and every single person that you interact with it on the road, and this happens to be about Ashok's life in Mumbai, and how each and every single person he's interacted with has their own story. I think one of the a really good story was the coconut seller, and how he I mean, nobody really cares about anyone else, and uh, the person actually took time to chat with the coconut seller and ask him how his day has been and how he's doing. And even though he was grumpy, just you speak to him. And also another story that I really liked was, sorry, just give me a second. Yeah, the sack in the can. So I think this is mostly because I really like dogs, but um, again, it's not just humans, but also animals and dogs who have their own lives. And it's just a really nice and heartwarming story of how uh, you know a really valuable friendship is developed between humans and dogs. And in this case, it's a street vendor and a dog, and how they have a partnership. It's a mutually beneficial partnership. One provides food, and one provides milk, and the other one protects the milk. And I really enjoyed these interactions and these stories. And to be honest, I like an entire book of just these kind of stories, these short stories, and stuff like this. And hopefully, if you do make a second book, I would like to read a lot more. Maybe if your life in Chennai also, you could, maybe the second one could be about different cities that you visited.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Anirudh, and that's
Thank
so
you.
uh, full of positivity. And as I said, we are usually self-centered. We think that we are the epicenter of the universe, but as they say in Hindi, "Sitaro ke aage jahan aur bhi hai."
Mm.
And those two stories were really cute. And I also find that coconut seller, how often do we sit around a person and to listen to them. It's important in life. Thank you for those insights. I have been part of the book for a longer time. I guess we have spent close to 3-4 months on the book. So I have read the book thrice. I know the book in and out. I have lived the character. We have debated a lot on characters. Why is X character like that? Why is not like that? So apart from everything that happened, there is a reason I am a part of this book, and the reason is Ananya Banerjee. So you get to know the character in the last portion of the book, that's volume 3. The character, like you and me and other women, is a chirpy, bubbly girl, an army brat, an army daughter. Till the time she meets the man of her life, and then in a few months he's not there. All her dreams, her wishes, her future planning shatters, and you do not know what to do. And when something like this happens, you know, you are there is society, and there is a family. There are questions around future, and what could you do? You are often hit by depression probably. And this could be a very real scenario, because the story is women around the Kargil episode, and I'm sure there are many such women who must have gone through it. And how the lady starts picking up her life from there, to an extent where post a decade, she met somebody else, falls in love again, and due to certain circumstances, they could not be together. And there she had to take a call. Should I go with my love, or should I stand for what I have, devoted my life uh, to, or should I put my self-respect above my love? And that's a very difficult call to take. And then she says, okay, I do love you, but we cannot continue. I cannot agree to your style of living, or probably your thinking, or I do not want to make my life another mess because I have gone through a lot. I can still love you and we cannot still be together. So
Yeah. So I was saying that the the book is a decade old. So the first story that I wrote is the hair of the hairdresser. I talked about Renuka being the last story. The that story also is one of my favorites. If I would say after Renuka, the Chota character is something that I relate to very well. I come as part of the story. So you guys, when you read volume two, you will see me appearing as a
and it is
character.
part of quite a lot of stories.
Yeah, yeah. Somewhere, it's like those movies where you feel you want to edit, direct, write script, act like that. Kabhi kabhi you feel that you know you see that written, directed, screenplay, everything by one guy, right? So this story is more or less like that. But I think that it is still one of my best stories. On a serious note, for two reasons. One is that it was an entrepreneurship story that actually happened in front of my eyes, and I look like how Anirudh looks. So I appear in the story like that, with close-shaven head and all that. So it's a very nice story because that really opened my eyes to the other stories. To look, as Anirudh said, you go beyond looking yourself as the center of universe, and you start observing, and then your mind works, putting that character in the centerpiece, and then bringing out in terms of the storyline. Observing, and then your mind works, putting that character in the centerpiece, and then bringing out in terms of the storyline.
Yeah. Um. So he's gone. He gonna come. Okay. So yeah, you're back.
I was getting calls. Sorry, sorry. So
Okay.
there's a
Okay.
lot of
Okay.
edits for
So so
Anirudh to
so
do
so a
this.
quick winding up session. So one character that you would aspire you could be, apart from yourself in the book.
You're
Someone
asking me.
who inspired. Huh. Do not think that just this is like
Yeah, Chota is a character that I relate to again. That is something that I see closely, and also the thought fiction, which is probably not many people talk about it. That is something that it's like your internal dialogue. Which happens in your mind. Normally, we go through that negative phase or dark phase, but we don't want to talk about it because we put a facade. We sound like as if we are all normal people, but the stories bring out essentially that internal struggle that somebody goes through. So if you have to throw light on that, if you want to throw light on the darkness or the kind of thoughts that happen in your mind, is are those stories. That was a different attempt in my view.
okay. So one character you do not like yourself to become. You would not rather.
Lakshmi.
Okay, okay. One character you feel you can meet again and talk to them?
I would ask Anand to be a little bolder next time.
Oh, okay, okay. One
You
thing
guys
that
will
you
have to
wish
read. You guys are not reached. You have not reached that
read,
part of the
they
book.
have not read. Okay. So one incident that you feel that shouldn't have happened but had happened and you wrote about it.
Mm, I think Varun's death was, is a little unnoticed story in health worker, and towards the last, his death actually surprised me. When I was writing the story, I never meant to kill him. Okay, so that was blood in my hands,
You kill him.
unexpectedly, because that gave the story the required climax. So I had to sacrifice one character for that.
Okay, 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 okay.
Let's not
And
talk too much of blood.
okay. So one thing that has happened and you have written and you want that to happen again. You want to revisit kind of thing.
I think the dog story, the sack and the can, I would write any day, again and again, because it's a very so Anirudh would know Mahesh and I, Mahesh uncle Anirudh, and I went for a run, and we noticed this little thing that happened, happened, and I saw that partnership at in action. So that's why I took that picture also. If you see the book, the actual dog appears in the book, and it touched me a lot, because you I never thought, again, this is one of those unexpected stories. So now and that story kind of brings in a feeling that it is that important thing you miss, that's little humanity, that feeling that you get. So that is something that I would love to see again.
Yeah. Great. Senior Mr. Ashok, any parting notes from your side? Anything that you want to add?
At the cost of being repetitive, I'll say that, all these stories have life, very close to life kind of stories. So, you're able to relate to them very quickly. You know, um, you know, I since I have not read the full compilation yet, I would kind of stick to the earlier books only, earlier stories only. Even the story about selling flowers, that girl which is selling flowers, and all that. It's lovely, these things do happen. It's kind of, you see it always, you see it always. It's every day happening. But to have thought of, you know, putting it in the form of a story and then giving it characters and all that, it's lovely. I really like that story a lot. This is happening every time. It's either somebody kind of instigates people to go on begging, or they encourage them to sell small things like this, and this keeps on happening. So it's that kind of life, like very close to life kind of thing. That is something which comes out everywhere, in all the stories. That's what I would say is my observation here. You know,
Yeah.
very
Thank you.
very
Thank you so
close to
much.
life. Yes.
Thank you. Priyanka.
Yeah, as I said, even I kind of get attached to each and every part, whether it is a human or anything. So I would like to say that he has Shresha has brought up that even like everything matters. When sometimes we think that the emotion doesn't matter, but it does matter. So that is the kind of thought that he gives to me, like when I read the book. So that is something I can relate with. So
Right. Apart from that particular story, in anywhere, if you feel a little overwhelmed or uncomfortable or more comfortable in such story, apart from that.
no, I never felt in any kind of any matter in that way.
Okay, okay. Anirudh, coming to you.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah. Hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. Sure.
So yeah,
So,
apart from the coconut seller, any other character that hit you, probably, or you felt
um,
you should have meet this person in life or something like that.
Just give me a second. Well, another story was that single cracker. I mean, the story about the kids and finding crackers and scavenging. I mean, that's something that I've actually witnessed in real life, and I think that's a story that I would really relate to. And I mean, I would definitely just like to be in the foot. I mean, the shoes of those kids, and actually understand what it is to understand the value of just that one firecracker. Uh, and I'd like to, yeah, I think that's one of the stories that I really, felt and really just got involved in. Really
That's
want to,
so
yeah.
natural. Na? I do not know if kids today do. Um, during this other festivals, for example, like during Sankranti, I have seen my friends running after kites, or during Holi they that water balloon, they do share, they run after the balloons to get each other's share, and these things are pretty much natural and we avoid them. I don't know. We usually do not think if a story around this can be built.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us. Thank you for sparing your Saturday evenings with us, each one of you. I'm so grateful to you to take out your time. And this was supposed to be our international launch, and because of some unavoidable circumstances, Digiti couldn't join us. And I just hope things around her are well and she's well placed. My wishes to her, and we'll just try to contact her, and if she can join us for any other session. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining me and for joining us, and do read, keep on reading, keep on sending your good wishes, and 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 if this book has touched you in any manner, do give us rating on Amazon and Goodreads, and I'm unabashedly saying this on video. Thank you so much.